Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage, welcome back to our little engine whatever. So if you guys watched the last episode, you know that on our engine, our Freedom Racing Engine's engine, we had some issues. We have number one cylinder has a scuffed wall and the piston is missing a little bit, like it got melted. And number four cylinder also has a scuffed wall, so we probably have some piston or ring issues there as well. So we think this probably occurred on the sled pull at UCC, and then it took all the running we've done with the truck for it to finally show its head. What probably happened is it got hot and then the ring went away, or got burned up, whatever, and that proceeded to the failure of our piston. It's not that terrible. It really made me feel good seeing how that it wasn't that bad, how good a shape everything still seemed to be in. Everything rotates over smoothly, so hopefully the guys at Freedom will be able to knock this out, get us all squared away, and get this thing all fixed up. So that being said, the next step is to get the engine out of the truck so that way we can get this thing to Freedom as soon as possible. So hopefully we can make Shide's Diesel Extravaganza out in Indiana at Wagler Motorsports Park. That's the goal. I want to try and hit all the ODSS races, and we have done that so far. I mean, UCC, we just kind of made a qualifying pass, and then Dyno Day, it was a whole thing. So we did get points for that race, but I want to try and make all of the races for the rest of the season, and that, just do the complete season. So that's the plan. We have to get our engine out, and that means we have to get rid of our power steering pump, fuel lines, our idler assembly can come off, all kind of our periphery stuff that doesn't need to be on it. We're gonna have to get it disconnected from the transmission, which with our engine adapter plate, I'm hoping will make things easier. So we'll just undo our torque converter bolts. That's another thing. We also have to pull the torque converter out so we can get that back to our man Cody Fisher, who let us borrow it. The engine diaper will need to come off. That could actually be done after the engine's out, but we do have to drain the oil. I'm going to take the filter off and just check for shiny stuff, all that kind of stuff. We're just going to get this thing ready to pull. We got to get our Breakout Tuning Solutions harness off, fuel lines, ECM's got to come out of there. Just a bunch of random crap that we have to take off to get the engine out. It really shouldn't be that long to get it out, provided we can get it off the adapter plate easy, or off the mid plate easy enough, which we should be able to do. The starter will have to come out, or at least be unwired, all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna jump right into it, put our valve train and all back in the truck, so that way it's all there and ready to go for the guys at Freedom. And we will be using our Firepunk lifting bracket to lift the entire engine. It's good for a head, it's good for an entire engine. These things are just great, made lifting this head off really easy because we don't have an attachment point in the rear to put a chain or something on there. So that's where we're at. We'll get to buttoning this head back down and valve train and get all this crap off. Well, if I had to guess, we're probably near our 4,400 pound mark on the drag truck. Unfortunately, it's because, well, all the scrap is off of it. So, got the rest of it kind of done. I did not put the valve train back in yet. I figured it'd be easier like this, you know, if we get all our stuff in and you know, with the valve cover, we got a little bit of a lip here, so just figured to leave that off until we get the thing out. Transmission bolts are out, engine oil is drained, all of our exhaust manifold studs are off, our alternator, our tensioner, power steering pump is off. Got our fuel lines all disconnected, ECM is disconnected, the harness I pulled completely out. Left the starter in because the adapter plate will be coming with the engine. Also, the ECM is still in. No need to pull it. Think I got all the fuel lines, our ground in the back of the head. Think we are good to go, but inevitably you usually miss something. But I think we're there. So all that's really left is to pull this thing up. The hard plate part might be getting it off the mid plate. I don't know. I've never actually pulled it since we had the mid plate installed. So yeah, now we're gonna pull the engine out of the truck and hopefully we can get it in the back of the F350. If not, we'll just have to set it in the garage here till we can figure out other means. But yeah, let's pull this sucker. Whoa. Our Freedom Racing engine is loaded on the truck. With the engine hoist, I was not able to get it fully on the truck, but another use for our 16-inch extension on the trailer, which I'll have to, you know, do a video on that later. But our trailer came in handy. We just put a 2x4 between our hitch and our pallet and push that sucker in there. So our engine is on the truck. I know it is not fully covered. I was going to put some like contractor trash bags on it, but yeah, too small. With that intake horn, it's definitely yeah, bit of a challenge. But I do have like our Waterman. It is covered in a plastic bag and taped up. Our fuel fittings for our S&S 12mm pumps are capped and taped. I have pretty much all of our fuel stuff capped off. Actually, I'll tape these on our regulator as well. the water line, I capped that, but it really doesn't matter if it gets wet. But got everything pretty well covered up best I can. The holes that the connector tubes for the injectors are open and all that, but the engine has to come apart. More than likely the block is going to need machined or at least honed, so then it'll need to be washed. So everything's got to come apart. So as long as the fuel system stuff is not in danger of getting wet, I'm not really worried about it. Like I said, the rest of the engine has to come apart. We need probably at least 2 pistons and 2 cylinders honed. So the rest of it, it's not really a big deal. I'm still going to try and keep, you know, debris and stuff out of it, obviously. But if they're going to take it apart, they're going to take it apart right and make sure everything is good to go. So as long as our fuel system stuff is staying dry, I'm happy. So like I said, I did want to cover it up, but that Freedom or Fleece intake horn just makes things difficult. But the whole engine is just too big for a contractor bag, and I don't have any like cellophane or anything like that. So yeah, got everything off, capped. I didn't pull the oil filter because that would make a mess and just be another point to try and, you know, cover up or whatever. But now if the guys at Freedom want to see the oil, you know, well, I guess the pan will have some, but they can cut open the oil filter if they want. But the engine is ready to go back to Freedom's to be serviced, so that way hopefully we can make shides like I keep saying. Also pulled Cody's torque converter out. When we pulled the engine, it kind of hopped a little, so between the dowels on the mid plate and these engine mounts, I guess I didn't have it picking at enough of a rake to just come off smoothly. So a bit of a jump there, but didn't hurt anything. Everything appears to be fine, so we're good there. Definitely easy to access a lot of this stuff, but I do want to try and make some revisions because, as you can see, this whole conglomeration of fuel lines and stuff like that, it's just a mess, and it always has been. But we'll try and clean that up. We'll see if there's anything on the frame, like weight savings wise, we can do, but I think we're pretty good in that department. So definitely got to clean the garage up because it is quite the mess. But the main thing is to get our engine back to Freedom, so that way they can service it and have us back ready rolling, so we can keep rocking and doing our racing events. And we are gonna miss a couple events I want to go to. There's a streetcar takeover in Maryland, not this weekend, but the following weekend. We're not gonna be able to make that for sure, but I'm also looking at, while the engine's apart, possibly doing some upgrades if time will allow. So just working on that, and it's going to be some stuff that it's a little interesting. It's not something that everybody has done. If it happens, you guys will see an in-depth video on that, because I'm really excited if we get the chance to do it, because it's really, I think it's really going to help us out. So we got that to do. We got to get Cody's torque converter back to him, so that way he can do what he wants to do with it. You know, whether he's going to use it as a spare, thrown in his truck, I don't know. But we got to get it back to him. He let us borrow it, so he would like it back ASAP, which is not a problem at all. So maybe we're going to do a little 2-for-1, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and maybe we'll hit Fire Punk and Freedom all on the same trip. So anyway, guys, I'm going to button up out here, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrenching on your truck. Please like and subscribe to the video down below. All right, guys, take it easy.